If you were to tell me 10 years ago, 8 years ago, honestly, even last year, that the Knicks were going to win an NBA championship this year, I would think you are absolutely insane and that you need to be checked into a mental hospital because the New York Knicks historically just have never really been that type of team that can pull it out and really make a difference, especially in the playoffs. And this is coming from somebody whose dad has had season tickets since 2001. And I just want to say that I would not have the knowledge of New York Knicks basketball that I have if it wasn't for my father. But on top of that, I wouldn't be able to have seen all of the games and all the amazing moments that I've seen if it wasn't for my father as well. So before I even get started with this video, I just want to say thank you, Dad, for everything that you do for me. And on top of that, I want to thank you for all the amazing memories that we've had together at Madison Square Garden and at other arenas like the Cavaliers Arena, the Miami Heat Arena, American Airlines Arena. I don't even know if it's still called that to this day. The Crypto Center, which is where the Lakers and the Clippers play. I have a lot of amazing memories with my father just watching Knicks basketball. And yeah, getting back to what I was saying, I really never thought the Knicks were going to pull it out. Not because I don't think they have a good team. It's just, when you see something over and over and over again, and it always happens the same way, and you expect, a different result, that's, I'm pretty sure, the textbook definition of insanity. So as a Knicks fan, seeing all of the losses continuously year after year after year, and, there would be years where I would say, oh, like next year it's going to be different, knowing damn well nothing's going to be different. It was just, for a long time, and I'm 21 years old, so for most of my life, it was just genuine insanity to think that the Knicks could pull it off. But they did, and I'm honestly just, like, I have no words, and I'm not really, I'm not a basketball YouTube channel. I actually, originally, when I first started this channel, I wanted to make 2K videos because I was at boarding school playing basketball with a bunch of really high-level prospects at the Division I level. And I'm extremely lucky as well to have been able to play with that squad of people. But at boarding school, I just remember like thinking, oh, I'm going to start this channel. I'm going to post 2K videos. I'm going to post basketball takes. I'm going to vlog, all that stuff. And, some of those things I ended up doing. Like, I do vlogs occasionally and not like day in the life vlogs, you know what I mean? But just like camera on, just me talking, no gameplay in the background type videos, that type of stuff. And I definitely have given some hot takes on this channel, but obviously no basketball takes so far besides this video. I've been meaning to make this video for a while because I am one of the biggest Knicks fans you'll ever meet in real life. I have over 20 Knicks jerseys. Pretty much every room that belongs to me in both my mom's and my dad's house, there's at least 5 pieces of Knicks memorabilia. I'm obviously not trying to flex my like fandom for the Knicks. Like, I don't want to sound like a fucking cuck when it comes to this shit, you know what I mean? But I do genuinely love Knicks basketball, and I will stand by the Knicks forever. There's literally not a single team I will play as besides the Knicks, and literally any 2K. Even the years where the Knicks won fucking 17 games and had legitimately terrible players on their roster, there is not a single team I will play as unless my friends want to do randoms when I'm playing 2K with them. You know what I mean? Where it's like 3 randoms, you get 1 skip kind of thing. But I will literally, if I have a choice, I'm always choosing the Knicks no matter what 2K. I don't care. I will grind it out. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about this past year for the Knicks and, the win, the championship, and how it makes me feel as a lifelong sufferer of a Knicks fan. Growing up, like, I would say my first memories of Knicks basketball was probably Baron Davis breaking his leg. I don't exactly remember what year that was. I think it may have been 2011 or 2012. But, like, when I look back on my childhood years, that's pretty much the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to, like, earliest Knicks memories is when Baron Davis drove to the lane. And I don't know if he broke his leg or dislocated it, but his entire knee bone was, like, extending out of his body. I don't think it was visible. I just think you could see it through the skin. You couldn't actually see the real white bone, but you could definitely, like, I've seen the footage on YouTube. I'm not just, like, saying I've seen the footage on YouTube and trying to, like, get you guys to believe that I saw this in person. There is a picture somewhere on one of my dad's old phones, or a video of it happening. But that's pretty much my first memory, and I guess I just wanted to say that to kind of like whoever's watching this, like to let you guys know, like I've been here obviously not as long as my dad. My dad's almost like I would say been watching Knicks basketball for 50 years at this point. He was born in '68, and his earliest memories are like Walt Frazier and Dick Barnett and Bill Bradley, those types of guys. So my dad's been suffering for a lot longer than I have, but me personally, my first memories are of like just Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, and obviously the leg breaking incident. I wanted to mention that because I just think it's like it was such a crazy thing to happen. It was just a regular play. Nobody really fouled him hard or anything, and he literally just went down like so awkwardly. And if you go and watch the video on YouTube, just look up Baron Davis like breaks leg, New York Knicks. It's such an awkward landing that guy had, and it's so painful to watch. But anyways, growing up, the Knicks weren't like the worst team ever when I first started watching. 11-12, they were the 8th seed, and like obviously, yeah, that's not great when it comes to playoff standings, but they had Melo in his prime. They had Amari Stoudemire pretty much at the end of his prime. And then we had players like Iman Shumpert, who tore his ACL in his first year, in his first playoff series, which, I'll be honest, that was sad. But obviously I don't remember, like, seeing that happen as a kid. I just, obviously know that fact now as an adult, looking back on it. And it was sad because Iman Shumpert genuinely in 2K is one of the most fucking exciting players to play as in 2K13, 2K14, even 2K15. Like I love playing with Shumpert. He's kind of like a Kobe prototype. I'm not comparing Iman Shumpert to Kobe Bryant. I'm just saying, in 2K he kind of plays like Kobe Bryant with a little bit of a better three-point shot. And let me show you right now, because this is live gameplay. Like I'm not like recording this over anything. I'm literally playing as I'm talking. That should have been a bucket, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Melo was a superstar. Obviously, he didn't win anything for the Knicks, but he did have 62 points on, I believe, January 29th, 2014. I was also at that game. That is probably my favorite game that I've ever been to, even though it was against the Charlotte Bobcats or the Hornets. I don't remember if they had changed from the Bobcats to the Hornets yet. I think they did. But obviously, it wasn't much of a matchup. Like, it wasn't really much of a game. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was guarding Carmelo Anthony, and bro just decided, like, hold my beer, let me drop 62. But besides that, like, what I'm trying to say is the Knicks weren't a horrible team growing up, but they weren't like the top of the top. They were just, they had their moments, kind of like how they did in the early 2000s. Some years they would be exciting for certain parts of it, but overall they just weren't really closers, weren't really a playoff threat. My first memories of really, really getting into Knicks basketball and, like, really, following it more than just kind of watching it on the TV. And when I was at the games, just, like, I'll say this, like, when I was at the games before I was, like, 12 years old, because I started playing basketball around 12 years old. I was obviously in, like, Little League and stuff like that in elementary school, but I didn't take basketball, like, seriously up until 6th grade. And for those of you who don't know, I have played 2 years of Division III basketball in college, and I was a varsity athlete in high school. And obviously, that's not a fucking flex. I'm just saying, like, I took basketball very seriously for a lot of time. And my earliest memories of when I was taking basketball seriously and also watching the Knicks was probably, like, 2016-17, I would say, when Porzingis really had his breakout season. Porzingis was always exciting, to be honest with you, before the injury and before he had a fallout with the front office and decided, fuck the Knicks. He was dead-ass my favorite player and a freak of nature, to be honest. And, like, I thought the Knicks were, like, going to win the championship with Porzingis and Carmelo Anthony and Derrick Rose. Like, I was genuinely convinced that was a championship squad. But they just, like most years with the New York Knicks, just very underwhelming, underperformed. A lot of just falling flat when it mattered most. Carmelo Anthony did have a good amount of game winners that year, and I think that same year the Knicks and the Hornets went into like quadruple overtime or something. I was with my cousin at that game, and both the Knicks and the Hornets just kept hitting buzzer beaters, and I don't know how many overtimes it went to, but I think it was definitely at least 4. Or, no, it was at least 3. I don't remember the date at all, but if somebody could fact check that would be great. Anyways, the whole point I'm trying to make here is, like, I've seen a lot of shit. Like, I've seen A lot of ups, a lot of downs. More downs than ups. There's been way too many close games where the Knicks should have won, but then in the third quarter or the fourth quarter, they just fall flat. Both defensively and offensively, just effort-wise, it wasn't there. And for a while, they really didn't have any leader-type players that, you know, when the Knicks were on a cold spell or when they were falling flat defensively, they didn't really have anybody that could necessarily, you know, pull their shorts up and be like, all right, guys, let's lock in here. You know, let's play as a team. There was just a lot of hero ball for a lot of my growing up, especially with Carmelo Anthony. And, like, I don't have anything against him. He's genuinely still to this day my favorite player of all time, Melo. But he did play a lot of hero ball, and there were a lot of moments where, I'll be honest, like, he should have just passed the rock or made a play for his teammates instead of just trying to take a difficult shot. But, you know, those are kinds of players that, I'm not going to sit here and say players don't take difficult shots. That's just ridiculous to say, because Jalen Brunson is the king of taking ridiculously difficult shots. But I'm talking about, you know, post work, kind of just like isolation, couple dribbles, like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant type basketball. You know what I mean? Like, not really dribbling too much, because Jalen Brunson is honestly like a maniac when it comes to dribbling. That dude needs at least 20 dribbles in his possession in order for him to feel comfortable to take a shot, which, no hate, like, he's, you know, he just wants us to fucking chip, so I can't say anything. But before that, before they won the chip, since he got traded to the Knicks, that was my biggest pet peeve with Brunson, is when he would try to do his little ISO situation and he would just take 40 fucking dribbles. And like 2022, he was definitely an elite player, but he wasn't at the level that he's at now yet. And there were a lot of possessions where he would just like make a fucking stupid decision and turn the ball over, just take a bad shot. But enough Jalen Brunson hate, because he's dead ass to go right now. You know, in high school, the Knicks were just straight garbage. 2018, the 18-19 season, they won 17 games. Frank Ntilikina, you know, was supposed to be the next big thing, but he never was. Melo leaving also was just, like, extremely depressing for me. I remember, like, that was my first sense of depression. When Melo joined the Thunder, I was just like, bruh, you gotta be kidding me. The Thunder became my third favorite team at that point, because I was also a big Raptors fan. I'm not really sure why. I genuinely think I became a Raptors fan because the first 2K I ever bought and played by myself, 2K17, and please don't, like, flame me in the comments and say, how could I be a basketball fan if my first 2K was 2K17? That wasn't my first 2K. My first actual ever memory of having a 2K in my hand at my house was 2K12 on the Wii and 2K11 on the Wii. But I didn't play 2K back then. And I would play, you know, 13, 14, 15, 16 at friends' houses, but I wasn't big into 2K because I just didn't really care for basketball outside of when my dad would take me to Knick games, which would be like maybe 15, 20 times a year, because when you have season tickets, you get access to all 41 home games, but my dad would sell some of the tickets. He would go with friends. You know, he would go with... Did he ever go by himself? I don't know. Maybe I should ask him. I doubt he ever went by himself, but he would go with friends, coworkers, stuff like that a lot. So, you know, I would go to maybe like 10, 15 games max when I was growing up. Now I would say it's closer to 30 because I'm just an avid Knicks fan, and even if it's like an easy matchup, I just want to watch Knicks basketball, and our seats are fucking amazing. They're in the 100, section 117, row 8, so it's quite the fucking view. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, not my, you know, my MyFi FTW Instagram, my personal Instagram, Miles Feldman 9, I'll put it in the bio of this video. I think I have pictures of the Garden, but if I don't on my Instagram, when the season comes, I always post pictures on my story when I'm sitting in my seats. So if you guys want to go look at that, you're more than welcome to. But enough about me. The Knicks this year really surprised me in a lot of ways because, you know, the team we've had and we've been building for the last couple of years, the chemistry is through the roof, and I've never really seen a Knicks team with the amount of chemistry that this team has had. The 2012-13 Knicks tape squad with, you know, this team that you're watching the gameplay of, Chandler, Stoudemire, Melo, J.R. Smith, Shumpert, Raymond Felton, those guys, Kenyon Martin, Rasheed Wallace, Big Sheed, like, those dudes were genuinely, like, the first kind of time when I'm like, okay, this is what team chemistry can do positively for a basketball team. But the chemistry between Brunson, Bridges, Josh Hart, and before Devo left, Dante DiVincenzo, um, there were just a lot of moments this year where I was just very surprised to see how well put together this team was. But to be completely honest, like this year, I didn't really think they were gonna win it because in the beginning of the season, I had a lot of issues with Mike Brown. I thought that he made a lot of questionable decisions, especially come crunch time when it was basically just give Brunson the ball and get the fuck out the way. And like I said, I don't have anything against Jalen Brunson. It's just when you are, growing up, watching Melo. He's 6'8", 230. Like, I'm okay with a guy like that having the ball in his hands during crunch time because he's a big dude. So if he doesn't have the ability to shoot the three, he'll give it to you in the mid-range. He's bigger than most players, so he doesn't have an issue knocking that down. Whoa! I did not mean to shoot that with stat, but I knocked it down. Holy crap. But, like, Brunson's an undersized guy, so when he would try to size up bigger defenders and try to make a big play, like, obviously I have faith that it was going in, but most of the time I would just be like, bro, you're a point guard. Make a play for your teammates because Jalen Brunson is one of the smartest people I've ever seen play basketball. Besides Derrick Rose. I think Derrick Rose is probably the smartest person I've ever seen, especially 2021 Derrick Rose when he was 9th in MVP voting. That year when Julius Randle won Most Improved Player. But by the way, shout out Julius Randle. I don't like how much hate he gets. I know he's a bit of a ball hog and he's very inconsistent sometimes and his passing is very questionable. He'll go like full throttle into a move, and then as soon as you think he's about to shoot it, when no one's expecting him to, he just chucks the ball out to the three-point line. That's obviously a very large flaw of his, but Julius Randle was my favorite player to watch in high school, hands down, besides R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle are my guys. They're my dogs, bro. And even though their careers so far have been, I would definitely say underwhelming, to their standards. Obviously, they're in the NBA. They're some of the best players in the fucking world. Hands down, I wish that their careers went further and they, did more on the Knicks, but you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Same thing with Carmelo Anthony, but like I said, we're talking about the current Knicks here. I really just didn't think they were going to do it this year because, there were, like I said, there were just several moments where I thought somebody else could have made the play or the play could have been, mashed up a little bit and maybe, Brunson draws two defenders and then kicks it out. But Mikal Bridges throughout this year was so inconsistent. He would have 25 points one night and then he would have 0 points or 5 points or be shooting like 3 for 15. And I had no faith in him up until the fucking playoffs when this guy just decided that he was him. Same thing with Josh Hart. Like Josh Hart is such a hustle player. Honestly, like the closest thing to Dennis Rodman I've ever seen with my own two eyes, and I don't care if that's a crazy take. Dude, like, will literally from anywhere on the court crash for the rebound. I thought that he was doing too much a lot this season, and whether or not he was or wasn't, those were just my thoughts, you know what I mean? And same thing with Karl Anthony Towns. I hated on him a lot this year because there were so many plays where I feel like he could have just put his head down and, went to the basket and used his borderline 7 foot, 280 pound frame. I don't know if that's actually how much he weighs. I'm sure he weighs at least 240. But, like, he had a lot of moments this year where I was like, bro's just a fucking crybaby. Like, please sub him out. And Mitchell Robinson, I have nothing bad to say about besides the fact that he's just invisible when it comes to making free throws. As a professional athlete, I don't understand that when it comes to being a professional basketball player. I genuinely can't comprehend how it's hard for him to make free throws. His form doesn't even look that bad. He just hits front rim or back rim or just air balls. And I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I really, really don't get it when you have people like fucking DeMarcus Cousins dropping 50 points, shooting threes. You got Jokic. Like, Jokic's fucking form is one of the most god-awful things I've ever had to look at. And he's one of the fucking best players in the league. He will go down as a top 10 big of all time. At least in my book. I mean, the guy's fucking insane. The guy knocks down threes from 35 feet with one leg, But I mean, throughout the season, there were just several moments where I was like, just kind of tuned out, mostly because, I didn't really have a lot of faith throughout this year that Brunson was going to be that 1A dude, and nobody really did. And it's not because of his height. It really, really isn't. It was just because of the circumstances. When it comes to Knicks basketball, the best player on the court is going to get the most hate when he doesn't, do what you need him to do, which is win you games. And it has nothing to do with the player or, their choices. It just has to do with, like, being a New York basketball player and playing for the New York Knicks. The Knicks fans, especially myself included, are some of the most, like, hard-ass people when it comes to mistakes. Like, we don't really take that shit lightly. When a player on the Knicks makes a bad play, that shit sticks with us for a long time. And I would say it mostly has to do with how much the Knicks have lost and just fell flat throughout the years. At this point, it's like when a small mistake happens on the court, a lot of fans, myself and my dad included, will just, like, take it further than it needs to go emotionally, mostly because of the fact that throughout the course of history, the Knicks have just not been those types of guys to pull it out. And like I said earlier in the video, especially in the fourth quarter, I can't tell you how many times the Knicks in the fourth quarter just haven't been able to capitalize offensively. Or defensively as well. And when it came closer to playoff time, I was excited. I'm always excited, in 2024 when the Knicks still had Hartenstein. And by the way, before I say anything else, fuck Hartenstein and fuck Mitchell Robinson. Both of those guys, I understand wanting to get a bag, but bro, like, I don't fuck with players that will come to a team like the Knicks, such an important franchise, and play their butts off, win over everybody, and then after, like, 1 year, I'm not, like, Mitchell Robinson was literally the only player that was still on the Knicks from the 2018 season, so I don't have any hate towards him when it comes to, like, loyalty and stuff. I just really hate players that chase a bag instead of chasing a championship, because Hartenstein was genuinely, like, a really important piece for the Knicks in 2024, and we got Karl-Anthony Towns, which is obviously a much better asset to the Knicks than Hartenstein ever was, and Hartenstein got his, he got his ring, but I hate players that chase the bag, especially centers. Like, I don't know, it's a stupid take, I know, but, like, Melo stayed for so long and won nothing, and he didn't even really want to leave. The Knicks pushed him out of New York, you know what I mean? Mitchell Robinson basically got a $45 million offer, and I don't even know how much the Knicks were offering him. I'm sure they were offering him, like, chump change. It couldn't have been anything more than, like, $15-20 million over a 2 or 3 year deal. But the fact that he was just so quick, literally 2 weeks after the championship, to just switch up and be like, yeah, fuck the Knicks, I fucking can't stand that shit. But Mitchell Robinson, like, was just such an exciting player to watch when he was on the Knicks, and he just always gave me a lot of hope, especially when it came to, important moments on the court. He was just, like, defensively, he was an anchor. He was such a fucking anchor defensively, and I think the Knicks will definitely suffer from that this year because Karl-Anthony Towns really isn't that good of a defender. He's big, and when you're that large, it's really not that easy to be shit at defense, unless you're going up against, like, a Damian Lillard type, point guard, or a Paul George type guy who just has crafty handles and speed. But for, like, the average NBA guard, like, Mitchell Robinson could lock them down. And I don't want to hear it. Like, that dude, he was locking down Victor Wembanyama in the finals. And that's why you guys see Spurs Knicks gameplay here, because I'm trying to just, set the tone with this. But Mitchell Robinson will definitely be missed. Let's go back to, like, what I was saying a couple minutes ago. Come playoff time, I'm always excited because the Knicks in the playoffs, when they win, the Garden is genuinely, like, one of the most special places to be in when the Knicks are, in a position to win, or especially when they win. That play where Dante DiVincenzo, after the rebound by Hartenstein, puts up the three and it goes in. That shit was just genuinely, like, you can't make that up, nor can you recreate a moment like that. It was just so exciting. Everybody was losing their shit. I was losing my shit, personally. Actually, I don't even remember if that was in the Garden or if that was in the Philadelphia arena, because 2024, my dad and I went to Philly for I don't remember if it was both away games, but I really don't remember, to be honest with you, because during that time, like 2 years ago, 2023, 2024, I was getting fried way too often and way too high when I was at these Knicks games. Like, I honestly really couldn't tell you. Hopefully, I find a picture, because I'll definitely post it on my feed somewhere on social media. I don't know where I'll post it, but I'll fucking post it somewhere. The Garden gets very, very fucking electric, man. Like, louder than I would say any other arena in basketball. Maybe besides TD Garden. TD Garden gets pretty loud too, but Madison Square Garden always has like the loudest fans on average. And I'm a very loud person when it comes to cheering for Knicks games too. Like, I get fucking loud, bro. But, you know, the first round, I mean, like, I was nervous. I'll be honest. I was nervous in the first round because Atlanta and CJ McCollum were giving us a run for their money. Run for our money, excuse me. And it kind of just, like, it was the same thing again. Like, I felt like the Knicks just, like, didn't give a lot of effort in a lot of moments this year, especially in the regular season. And, like, obviously I'm not used to seeing the Knicks go deep in the playoffs. Last year when they made the conference finals, that was, like, the first time I had a taste of that shit ever. You know, the Knicks before last year didn't make the conference finals since, you know, 99, 2000. So, like, I've never seen that. The furthest I've ever seen the Knicks go was the second round against Indiana, but then they fell flat in 6 games. So, you know, I wasn't, like, used to that. So seeing that and seeing how far they came, it was just like, let's go, dude. Like, that's fucking awesome. That is genuinely just fucking awesome to see that shit. But, you know, with CJ McCollum and the Hawks and just how they were playing in those first 2 games, those first, like, I would say the first 3-game stretch, I was, like, nervous, bro, because they were really doing some shit. CJ had, like, 2 really solid games, but then it pretty much just switched, like, from this could be bad to what the fuck was I talking about? This is the best team I've ever watched in my life. And I don't really know what changed. I also don't know why I waited this long into the video to talk about this, but I really don't know what else changed besides the fact that they just locked the fuck in. But the energy was just very different. Like, Jalen Brunson was a different player after those first couple of games. He really put the team on his back. And not only that, like, everybody put the team on their back. Everybody was playing the best basketball I've ever seen them play. And, like, when Josh Hart was on the Lakers and the Blazers, if you were to tell me that he would be a leading factor in a championship team, let alone the New York Knicks, if you told me he was going to be knocking down tray balls, fucking insanely tough layups, incredibly clutch rebounds, I would genuinely laugh in your face. Especially, like, Karl Anthony Towns, too, bro. Like, Cat's a fucking... He's a GOAT when it comes to offense. Like, when you see bigs like that moving how he does, shooting how he does, it's genuinely, like, a very pretty sight, right? But, like, I never thought that Cat would be a part of a winning program. I never thought Cat would win a ring, let alone as a starting center for the Knicks. Like, I never thought that was going to happen. It just didn't seem like it would be a possibility. And as every round went by, especially the Philly series, I mean, Philly, like, ever since the Knicks started making the playoffs in the 2020s, like, Embiid's just a trash, garbage, just butt muncher, dude. Like, I don't care how many points he's scored. I don't care how, you know, overpowered he can be when he's healthy. He's not a winner, and he's a fucking crybaby. But the Knicks just fucking destroyed the Sixers. You know what I mean? Like, not just destroyed, like anally pounded the fucking Sixers in 4 fucking games. And, I mean, after that, I was like, there's really nobody that can stop us. And that play where Mitch just dunks all over Joel Embiid and Mitch's nutsack is in Embiid's face and he's fucking crying. I actually have a t-shirt of that. I'm gonna wear it in a vlog soon, but there's a fucking picture of, like, the, you know, the frame, just like the image, like, the, you know what I'm trying to say. And, I mean, that was just a momentum shifter. And especially the Cleveland series, the Knicks, when they came back from, I think it was 23 points in game 1 of the conference finals in the Garden. I actually wasn't at that game because my dad sold the tickets because, apparently that I don't know if it was just that one game, but a lot of the games this playoffs were just like selling for a lot of money, like a lot. I'm telling you, a lot of money. My dad made like $8,000 off of that, off of those seats. And our seats, like throughout the regular season, are $500 each for our seats. But in the playoffs, they go for like, you know, 800-900 depending on the round. But the conference finals, they were like over $1,000 a ticket, and my dad made a quick buck off of them. And I think he just wanted to see how much he could make off of the tickets. So I went to a bar with my boys, like a local bar, and just watched the game. But like, it got to a point where like I thought the Knicks were done. I was like, yeah, they're losing game one. It's whatever. It's just frustrating. They're not making a lot of shots tonight. And then Brunson in the fourth quarter was just like, fuck this shit, bro. I'm the GOAT. I'm literally the MVP. Like, the fuck is you talking about? And I mean, the rest is history, bro. Especially the Spurs series. I mean, listen, Wembanyama is a freak athlete, but he's the biggest bitch I've ever seen step on a basketball court. He's also the dirtiest player I think I've ever seen. Even dirtier than that, what's that white guy's name? The guy that, fuck. I don't remember his name, bro. Played on the Bucks, played on the Suns. Just like a really dirty player in college. Would like trip people on purpose. Fuck, I gotta remember these things, man. But Grayson Allen. Yeah, Grayson. Like, he's even dirtier than Grayson Allen, bro. Like, even dirtier than Draymond Green, the nut kicker. You know what I mean? Like, guy was just a straight bitch. But time and time again, they prevailed, and especially that play where Brunson hit a clutch three to either put us up by one or tie the game over Wemby. I mean, that shit was just straight cinema, bro. Straight fucking cinema. No fear at all in Jalen Brunson. Oh, and the OG Anunoby tip-in as well was probably the single greatest play I've ever witnessed in real life. I genuinely, like, throughout the whole game, I'm like, bro, calls aren't going our way. We're not hitting shots. Players look invisible out here. Spurs are just bullying the Knicks. How are we coming back from this? And, you know, it goes 15, then it goes 20, 25, 29-point deficit. And, you know, obviously when you're down 30 in the fucking NBA Finals, you don't think that it's going to happen to the point where you're going to fucking come back. And, like, that's not on your mind. What's on your mind, especially as a Knicks fan, is, like, how the fuck did it get to this level of bad? How the fuck did it get to this level of shitting the bed? But the Knicks came the fuck back, and everybody seemed to click at one point. And I don't know what it was with the New York Knicks this year, where, like, the last couple of years, honestly, where, like, they play better when they're playing like shit. I don't really know what the story is with that, or what, like, mental routine happens with Jalen Brunson and friends when they go down by big deficits. But it was the most amazing, most magical, most genuinely, like, incredible thing to watch in real life, how they came back. And not only that, Brunson's shot against Wemby is like 29-footer. That was not a great shot. That was like kind of the Damian Lillard level, just chuck kind of thing. But OG Anunoby from the left wing 3-point line, genuinely, just as soon as that shot went up, he seemed to be the only guy who was crashing the rebounds. And it's like he knew exactly where the ball was going to bounce off as well. Honestly, just magic in the air, bro. Like, I don't think I'll ever see that again. Something as crazy as that. And on top of that, it's like, the last time the Knicks were in the finals, they got blown out in 4 games by the Spurs. And when the Knicks were making the finals in the 90s, the early 90s, they, like, could not finish series. They couldn't finish a series. They couldn't close out on a series. And, you know, I remember Charles Smith, that play where he misses like 3-4 layups in a row against the Bulls, I think. Like, you know, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I'm thinking we're going to fucking chuck up a bad shot, lose the game, and OG tips it in. And I mean, when I tell you the Garden was louder than I've ever, and I've heard, like, pretty loud Garden chants, bro. Like, it's been loud before, man. It's been, like, deafeningly loud before. There was, like, a 3 or 4 second pause, and then the whole stadium was shaking. Like, I could feel it in my shoes. It felt like I was at a fucking festival, like Bottle Rock in Napa, California. which I was also at like a month or two ago. Probably a month ago. It was June. But dude, like I'm just so ecstatic, and I really just don't have anything else to say besides I'm amazed, and it still really hasn't hit me yet that the Knicks are the top of basketball, at the top of the basketball world once again. Shout out to everyone on the Knicks. You guys are amazing, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little rant here about Knicks basketball. I don't know if I'm gonna do this more. I would like to, but I have so much to say, and I'm so unorganized when it comes to, kind of talking about these sorts of things. I just jump from, thing to thing, and some people don't like listening to people who just jump from topic to topic. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before 2026 ends. And if you're a Knicks fan, comment your favorite Knicks player and your favorite Knicks memory of all time. And for those of you who have made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you. And for those of you who do not believe what I'm saying, go fuck yourself, because everything I'm saying here is real talk, man. I know that we live in a world of a lot of fakers, a lot of LARPers, a lot of wannabes, but I am not that guy, and I never will be. Everything I say is legit. Everything I say is true. And if you want proof, DM me on Instagram. I'll send you some crazy videos and pictures. Anyways, that's all for me. Let's go Knicks, and once again, incredible playoff run this year. In-fucking-credible.